Hello everyone, my name is Frank and I'm glad that you're here. When we're teaching a class or working on projects, we often teach the same subjects or work on projects with the same parameters. So instead of having to go into the Microsoft Teams environment and recreate all of the channels from one team so that we can have a team that's similar to it, we can use an easier method. And that is using a team as a model or a template for a new team that we create. It's quite efficient and it's a really great way to quickly spin up a team that looks a lot like an older team. Let's go have a look. One of the things that happens, especially if we're teaching or if we work on projects that are very similar, is that I might teach a class several times a year, or I might teach several sections of the class all at the same time with different students. But what I want is to, for example, with this hiking class, create the same channels every time I create a new hiking project or a new hiking class. So what I can do in Microsoft Teams, which is extremely helpful, is here I've got all these different channels and I have a number of applications that are part of this hiking class, and I've just called it model class. And the reason I've done that is if I go to join or create a team, I can create a new team, and I'm actually going to create from an existing team. So I'll go into create from an existing team, and any of the different team sites that I've created, I can actually copy them and effectively use them as a model or a template for my new class. Now in my case, I actually have an entire class called the model class. But let's say, for example, we went on the North Coast Trail and I added a bunch of channels. I really liked the way that this class ended up with the different channels in there. I could simply copy that one instead. But in my case, I'll copy this model class from the hiking class, and now I can go in and keep the tabs that I have in here, my team settings, any apps that I installed. Now in this case, I could choose to bring all of the members from the previous class into this class, or because I have different people hiking with me, or because I have different students, I could choose not to do that. I can put in information on it. Say, let's say we're going to hike the PCT in 2023. So we're planning out some hikes, and some of these take a year or two to organize. So we're going to hike the Pacific Coast Trail in 2023. I'm now going to create that that team. And it's going to create the team here, and it's going to be exactly the same template as this hiking class. Now there are a number of channels and apps to be put in there, so it'll allow me to create that team in the background while I go and work on some other things. So now you can see that I've gone in and I have this new PCT, and you'll see that it is exactly the same as my hiking channel here. So I've got the model class, and this is exceptionally useful if I do projects that are all the same where I want multiple channels, or if I have classes especially. So this hiking one's a good example because I want to do the same things for every hike I go on, plan out my food and beverage and so on and so forth. Now I can always go in here and I can start customizing this team. So I can go in and add sort of an image in there. We can upload an image in there, put an image of the PCT in here. So throw that in there and just make it a little bit nicer. And now you see that I'm ready to go. I've got everything ready for this particular hike, the PCT, and 23. Well, that's maybe a little bit too far in the future. Let's go ahead and edit this team, and we'll go a little bit earlier than that. We'll go in 2023. Save us having to wait 3 centuries. So we'll go in there, we'll put the changes in there, and you can go in and start adding members in here, and you can do all of the things that you want to do in terms of creating the teams. And in the background, I also created an AT, Appalachian Trail hike, and a PCT hike. Oh, that's the 2023 one. I created it twice. But you can see that I can go in, and that's another thing you can do is just go in here and delete that team just because I put it in there twice for some reason. So you can see you can quickly create classes that have the same structure as other classes, or projects that have the same structure as other projects. As always, I hope that was useful for you, and that's going to make you more efficient using Microsoft Teams. I know as an instructor, this is an absolute must-have skill because I'm able to quickly spin up a new session of a class and then add new students to that new class very easily without having to go in and create all the channels. And if I create a really nice custom channel list, then this makes a huge difference because I can just keep using it. It's a great tool. So as always, if you want to share this with colleagues or subscribe, that would be great, or comment down below. And here's some more videos on the channel that you can watch.